Good morning, friends. In last lecture, we have seen the syllabus which we are going to study. In that, there are two units. First one is design of steel structure, and second one is design of RCC structure. Now, today we will start with fundamental of steel structures. In that, first introduction. In this, the design of steel structures involves the planning of the structure. That when, as an engineer, when you are going to design a steel structure, you must have a pre-planned drawing with you of that structure. That for specific purposes, that is, it is constructed as a truss, it is constructed for workshop buildings, or it is a tunnel, or it may be put path over railway bridge, etc. Then proportioning of members to carry loads in the most economic manner. That means when you are going to design a steel member, suppose it is a continuous structure. Continuous means when the beam is supported, that is steel beam is supported more than two supports. At that time, where there is a heavy load, we are going to design different section. But if load is less, at that point we are going to design a less weight member or less weight carrying member, so that there is different sections we are going to use for a single member span. That is not suggestible. That is, for proportioning of members to carry loads in the most common manner, we have to design a economical member, and we have to consider the erection at site. That is, the structure which we have built up can be carried from one side to another side directly by transportation. It can be seen. This is the prelim requirement for the designer. Second one, steel as a building material has been used extensively in various types of structures. Just I have said that these structures are used for bridge, for tunnels, for roof trusses, for factory work shed, etc. These steel as a building material has been used extensively. So nowadays steel having lot of advantages. We can see afterwards. Some of the examples of civil engineering works in steel are high-rise building, skeletons, industrial buildings, transmission towers, which were uh, seen on the roadside, railway bridges, overhead tanks, chimneys. Chimneys are the structures which can flow the fumes in the air, bunkers which are used in military purpose, silos, along with gantry and crane girders. These gantry and crane girders are used to lift heavy load from one point and ship to another point within the floor, steel bridges, roof trusses, etc. These are the wide use of steel structures. Then, as a designer, when you are going to design a structure, steel structure, at that time a designer must keep the following points in his mind while the designing. In that, first one, a section selected be available in the local market. Suppose you have selected a section and that section is not available in the market, then we have to manufacture that section which will cost more. So that you must know that your designed section must be available in the local market. That is, unusual sizes must be avoided, and rare rolled sections are also added because these rare rolled sections cost more and they should be avoided. Second one, in steel structure buildings, the various elements should be compatible at the joints. If a large number of different shapes and sizes of elements are designed, it will be practically difficult to fit the members and connections will be a problem. Just I have said that when in a continuous beam we are designing the steel sections for different span, different sections, at that time the jointing is very complicated, so that you have to design throughout the same structure from start to the end. That is the very good thing. Then third one, in continuous beam, just I have said this one, in continuous beam of a framed building, the designer may provide different sections in various spans for economy, but this arrangement will generate connection problems and look unattractive. That is just I have said. The next one, the steel structure in exposed conditions required frequent maintenance. This is the only difficulty here, that we have to require a frequent maintenance, that is coloring, oiling to the steel members which are exposed to the air, to the water, etc. Therefore, the elements of such structure should be avoided from the water, from the air. The next one, the transportations facility for built up sections should be explored before designing them. Now, what is built up beam? Built up beam is a beam which is designed to carry the heavy loads, so that a single section cannot be used for heavy loads. So, by combining two or more than two different sections, a section is made, and that section is known as built up section to carry the heavy loads. If you are designed a section of built up beam, then the carrying of this section is very difficult. So you have to decide first that it should be transportable at one side to another side. These advantages of steel structure are listed below. Since steel members have high strength per unit weight, therefore a steel member of a small section which has little self weight is able to resist heavy loads. Being light, steel members can be conveniently handled and transported. For this reason, prefabricated members can be frequently provided. Then third one, properly maintained steel structures have a long life. Fourth one, the properties of steel mostly do not change with time. This makes steel the most suitable material for a structure. Then again, steel being a ductile material does not fail suddenly but gives visible evidence of impending failure by large deflections. Additions and alterations can be made easily to steel structures. They can be erected at a faster rate. Steel has highest scrap value amongst all building materials. These are the advantages. You can write only 4 advantages in the exam. Then disadvantages. In disadvantage, steel structures when placed in exposed conditions are subjected to corrosion. Therefore, they require frequent painting. This is first disadvantage. Second one, steel structures need fireproof treatment which increases cost. These are disadvantages. Then now we can see the overview of common steel structures. Here some common steel structures are listed which are seen in everyday routine. In that, steel towers, these are used to support transmission lines, radio and television antennas, radar and macro equipment, tanks, bridges, etc. Second one, still water tank. These are used to store water and other liquids. These steel tanks are either constructed on ground or elevated on towers. Then steel bridges. These are used for transportation of highway or railway traffic across rivers, railways, etc. Then gantry and crane girders. The traveling overhead cranes are commonly used in workshops and factories to lift and move the heavy materials and machinery from one place to other over the entire floor area of the building. The cranes are operated manually, electrically. This is the schematic diagram of gantry girder.